Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws. Dan.
What a weekend of football.
What a whole week of footy.
It's been great.
It felt like nothing stopped. Like after we were on this very couch, it felt like Rugby League just went, Dan and Terry didn't talk enough. Let's give them some more.
Give us.
And let's give us a great weekend of rugby league, which we will talk about.
Absolutely.
But first of all, the biggest talking point out of this weekend, was it a shoulder charge? Mm-mm. Was it a high shot? Mm. Was it a stunning length of the field try or a try-saving tackle?
Was it refereeing error?
No. It was the Penrith trainer wetting a ball. The ultimate shithousery. I got to tell you, I missed it live. I loved it.
So did I.
Yep.
And straight up, you can't tell me most of the trainers don't do this. But what I didn't like, Terry, is he knew he was in the wrong because he did it very, very...
Yeah.
He knew what he was doing was wrong, and he wet it, and they kicked it, and it was a draw, which we'll talk about in a minute. I have no problem with this because I think everyone does it. But because it's Penrith, I'm going to act like it's important.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it at all. Like, rugby league is a game of inches. You see the players milking it. You see, like, everything happens in the game. You need to get some kind of advantage.
You can't tell me that made any difference.
Nah, what's a...
It hooks in the ball, the water goes off the ball anyways.
I tell you what would have been even funnier. Had the Cowboys dropped the ball and Penrith had won.
Oh, if that had happened, there would have been mass bop, I guarantee you. But anyone who was blowing up, and I did see some people, we're very tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
When you kick the ball, it whizzes. Mm-hmm. All the water from a little spray is going to... It had no bearing.
It's still like the thought process to do it is pure genius.
It's shithousery at its finest.
Like I'm saying this now. Like if Manly did that to us, I'd be raging. But if we did that to Manly, I'd be like,
rugby league at its finest.
Yeah, it's oh you joker.
People,
you know what I mean?
You know what this does make me think though, Terry? Is how many times have we sat here and other people said we need more characters in rugby league?
Yes, we need more characters.
Yet every time someone shows any personality, they're a flog and they're the worst and they need to be kicked out and they need to be professional. I like the characters.
Well, now, Ronaldo Mulatalo scored the match-sealing try, and as he was scoring, running around beyond the try line, he was telling all the fans to be quiet. He scores, gets up, kicks the ball, waves them all goodbye, and you got Manly fans turning around going, geez, he's the biggest flog in the game. Like your fans hadn't been in the grandstand harassing him, calling him all kinds of names all game. You reap what you sow. And
your players did it.
And
even Garrick went out of his way to get in his face.
Yeah, like I got to tell you this. In 2011, we played Manly on a Saturday night at 7:35 and we were up 13-0. And you're going to know the game that I'm talking about here because that Manly scored a try and then they scored another try and then DCE kicked a field goal to make it 13-all. And as the siren played, Cherry Evans puts a grubber kick in and Michael Oldfield picks the ball up and scores under the post. For 79 minutes and 30 seconds, I let Michael Oldfield know all about how terrible at rugby league he was. And when he scored that try, he made a beeline for me. I'm telling you.
That's completely fair. Yeah. You deserve it, as do the fans.
Absolutely, fans deserve it.
I have no problem with the shush and the bye-bye. That's just, again, that's good shit housing.
Yeah, absolutely it is. This is rugby league.
It is. There are a few incidents that we talked about, the ball wetting. I have no issue with that. There was one on Thursday or Friday night, where the Trell Mitchell seemed to submit in a tackle and then ran over and scored.
Absolutely loved it.
I have no problem with this because Selwyn Cobbo turned away and walked away. Make the tackle.
Yeah, absolutely. The minute he was down, all you had to do was just, tackle's done, right?
And he went for that. And when no one did, he's like, well, I'm going to score.
Yeah.
Good on him.
That's exactly right. Like, the onus isn't on Trell Mitchell to just wait for the referee because the referee could have been standing there for an hour.
Yeah, if they don't tackle.
No one touched him.
It was brilliant. It was good football. How good was Latrell just quietly?
Oh, he was real good. How good was that field goal?
It was a ripper. He's like, I'm just kicking this.
I think he's the first South player to kick a match-winning 2-point field goal as well. So
there you go. Pretty incredible.
Absolutely. It's good to see Trell back. And geez, he looks trim.
He did. I was really impressed.
I think there's an Origin campaign that
there's definitely an Origin campaign coming up. The other incident we saw on the weekend was when Jamin Salmon, who unfortunately has been injured and will be out for quite some time, got up. We got a dog in Canberra. No one's forgotten the Ricky Stewart conference. Especially him.
Yeah.
And I saw people going, you got to let this go, you got to move on, blah, blah, blah. He's a this and he's a flog and his words I can't use here. He got called a weak-gutted dog by one of the most experienced coaches. He's probably been sitting on that for a couple of years. Got up, scored a try in one of the greatest games you'll ever see. I have no problem with this at all.
No, and so don't forget, when he was playing for Penrith at the time, and when they went back down there, they beat Canberra 53-12, and he scored the final try of the game and did the weak-gutted dog. Canberra are going to have to understand the fact that every time they play Jamin Salmon, if he scores a try, you're going to get the weak-gutted dog. You know how you stop that? Don't let him score a try.
Seems pretty easy. Everyone else can do it.
Just quietly, the injury to Jamin Salmon aside, he was having a ripper of a season.
He's been exceptional this year. He was a signing. We were like, he's told us to go.
Him and Kurt Mann.
Yeah, they've been great. But I have no problem with this. It's characters. Now, if you'd gone up and called someone that out of context, okay, you're just playing it up. And Ricky didn't even care.
And the great thing about it was he did that when they were down 20-10.
Yes. If it was the last try, you're like, didn't need that.
Yeah, we know if it was the last try, it would have been even more spectacular. But the fact that he did it when they were losing, if Canberra go and score another 2 tries, you'd be turning around and going, well, doesn't he look like an idiot? Looks like a genius.
He does, and good on him. And I'm all for the characters. Back. No one crossed the line.
Nope. Now, we've had a week of not confirmed transfers, but we know players are moving on. Players will be going somewhere.
Yeah.
Now, the first one, Big Cheese, character.
Yep, character.
Everybody loves the cheese. You either love him or you hate him, but you should love cheese. If you don't love cheese, go and have a word to your doctor. We love hearing him on podcasts. We love everything else. He's going to South Sydney. But the Roosters have turned around and said, you have to chip in money. Why would Souths have to chip in money? The bloke's not playing this year. He tore his ACL under your watch.
You pay for it.
You pay for it. You chip in the money. Yep. The Roosters are going, we want a transfer fee. If I'm South Sydney, I'm turning around and going, hey, look, Smith, we'll take you next year. We'll come get you next year. You're off contract. We'll take you next year. Continue your rehab over there.
This is dumb because not only would South have to take over the rehab, which will cost them money, I'm sure they would. I'm sure his personality would make up for it in promotional activities, etc. But the Roosters have just been smart asses here. They don't want to let him go, or they feel like they've got him over a barrel. He's not going to play, so what's the point? So I like this. I think him going to South is a good move for everyone. Never fit in at the Roosters.
Yeah, never did. Now, Dominic Young and his standoff with the Roosters and the Roosters standoff with Newcastle has gone nowhere because Dominic Young lined up for the Roosters in New South Wales Cup this week. Everyone was thinking that he would be available for next round. Doesn't look like it will happen in time for Tuesday night team lists. No,
but I do feel like Newcastle may go forward, being Greg Margie's been ruled out for the 6 weeks, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I think the Roosters know this now and will sit back and wait. Look, he hasn't fit in. He was another one who was arguably the best winger in the game when he scored some of the greatest tries you'll ever see in Newcastle.
Remember that cartwheel?
Oh, he scored 2 of them in a game, I think against us even.
Yeah.
He's a brilliant player. He's just fallen down the pecking order, whatever. He just needs to go to Newcastle and get back in there, and the Roosters just need to move on. I would be shocked if that's not done in the next couple of days.
It needs to be done before 4 o'clock on Tuesday.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. And the other one, Sandor Smith has surprisingly shopped himself around to other clubs. Now, I see a lot of teams going, oh, we could do with Sandor Smith. Could you, though?
I don't think he's good enough to walk straight into their side.
No.
I think the Titans should get him because they need a half. And
finally admit that AJ Brimson needs to play Q Cup.
We need to play fullback, and the Guru needs to play Q Cup. But yes, I like your thinking. There are a few teams where Sandor Smith.
So what about Kinney when he comes back?
We'll deal with that when it happens. There are a lot of teams who can use a 14, but if he's going to play 14 for the Roosters, why would he go?
Yeah.
Now, I did a 5 landing spots for this, and I led with, he's being shot by his management because the Roosters have turned around and said, we're getting DC, you need to go. And they've got Hugo Savala sitting there, and Smith obviously doesn't want to sit for a couple of
Hugo Savala can also play back row and play hooker. Like, he's your ideal 14 there. I think, like, Sandor Smith just makes sense to go to Manly, and they finally just turn around to Luke Brooks and go, look, you are not an NRL player.
Look, I think there's a market for him, but it won't be a quick one. I was shocked when I heard this because I thought he was playing really well.
Yeah, he was. It went until he got hurt.
Yeah, it's true. Which in the other one, mate, your mate, David Fafita. Fafita. He's just got to get rid of the Titans. He should have left 3 years ago.
Do you think he now regrets his decision of last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
110%.
And moving backwards, I know he was meant to sign with the Roosters and he did the backflip on that deal.
Well, he did sign with the Roosters. It was announced.
Yeah, bro, you made the wrong decision. You should have just gone to Penrith.
He's burnt a lot of bridges. Now, he's a very good player, and
Where could he land?
Well, I think someone's going to get him for a year, and I think he's going to Perth because they're the only team that's going to go in big for him because they have to.
Parramatta could do with him.
Yep, I said a year loan, and then, or maybe they just get him because they're shopping Ryan Madison.
Yeah?
Jeez, it's hard to keep up with.
Yeah, they're shopping Ryan Madison, and Sean Lane has said, I think I need to move on from Parramatta.
Which, it's fair. I don't blame him if he's not getting what he needs there, and that's a serious thing, so we won't talk about. But
yeah, sounds like Madison's going to go to the Super League.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's a market for Sean Lane in the NRL anymore.
Yeah, maybe he goes to Super League.
Maybe he goes to the Dragons.
Yeah,
do the Dragons need him? No.
I don't know. They got those young kids.
They got Jaden Sewer as well.
So I think Fafita walks into 4 or 5 teams, but he's going to need to take a different attitude. Yeah,
he can't just turn around and go, I want to play. Look. At the moment, the way that they're going, like I wouldn't take David Fafita over T. I wouldn't take David Fafita over Billy Burns.
No, me neither. Not on the money.
No, not with the attitude that like Billy Burns has gone out for Cronulla for the last 4 weeks and bled for that team.
Yeah, for
like literally bled for that team. So
for feet away. No, I'm a huge fan of his.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Sharks,
now a report has come out that Cronulla only have $300,000 left in their salary cap for next season, and it's for Will Kennedy. Now, there's a few alarm bells that ring for this because we have Jaden Berrell still off contract, Billy Burns is still off contract, Sam Stonestreet is still off contract. So I don't think that that's quite correct. However, I think the line of thinking is Cronulla were getting ready to move off Will Kennedy this year.
That's
knowing that Ison was going to be the next man up and you're going to get a young fullback and this, that and the other. And now Will Kennedy has become one of the more reliable fullbacks in the competition.
Yep.
I think he's going to lose his spot at the top of the Daily M's this week just quietly.
Yep.
I think young Metcalf's going to skyrocket to the top.
Go whooshka.
But Willie will be second.
Yep.
But then there's another little birdie has flown into my ear and said that Cronulla haven't even spoken to Will Kennedy since January.
Yeah.
And they haven't even called his agent. So I think this is like a little bit of agent fluff, like get him to call Cronulla, let's see if we can make a deal, even if it's a 1-year deal.
I think it will be a 1-year deal.
I think it'll be a 1-year deal moving forward.
This says to me that Cronulla didn't have plans of re-signing him.
But I'll say this now, like you know, sitting here, producer Dids knows, I am Will Kennedy's literal biggest fan, right? There's no market for Will Kennedy in the NRL.
No,
I don't think he's the worst fullback, but I think a lot of teams have turned around and gone, we've got our fullback.
Yeah, I agree. I spoke with Sam on Sharkcast earlier tonight, yesterday by the time this drops. And I said there's no rush because I don't believe there's a team out there that's going to be screaming. There are teams that could use him, but they're like Yongi he's got the Parramatta gig. He's showing signs. Kinney's good up at the Titans. There's a market for him, but I think it'd be very small.
Like right now, he's better than Clint Gutherson, but the Dragons aren't moving off Gutherson because they need him for his leadership.
Spot on. So I think he was linked with the Super League early, and I think that's ultimately what will happen. But Cronulla have a lot of players. Now, they rushed to re-sign everyone real quick, and there was always going to be a player that was left. We originally thought it was Kennedy.
Will Kennedy.
It can't be Kennedy now.
Can't be Kennedy. It can't be Stonestreet.
No,
so who is it? Someone's getting tapped.
I think Sione Katoa, who's on a lot of money, is going to get tapped on the shoulder because his money could go to Kennedy and Stonestreet.
Yeah, and
that's the obvious one. And you got a whole lot of big name forwards on big money.
Is Jesse Colquhoun off contract as well?
No, he's next year.
I think one of BHU, even though he only re-signed, Toby, maybe Siffer, are probably going to be looking.
Exactly, and I saw some Sharks fan going, you can't just move players on. We just talked about 7 of them.
We just talked about 8.
You can just move players on. I think Hamlin Ueli, I'm very much on record as saying that deal was despicable.
Yeah.
And I think there's a way out because I think that he will go to New Zealand. We'll have to tip in, but that's fine. You get rid of his 800 or whatever it was. There's your money to sign your Billy Burns, your Sam Stonestreet, your Kennedys. You roll 1 year, and if Kennedy's no good next year, Liam Ison's come back for an ACL. So do not panic. Well, Kennedy's not going anywhere. Watch him sign for someone by the time this drops. I'm extremely confident that he will stay Shark, and as he should.
Just this round of rugby league, Dan, we saw the Dolphins and the Eels play. Like I thought that was going to be a bludger of a game. Ended up being really.
For 70 minutes it was, and then for 10 minutes it was like the greatest game of all time.
I thought it was a really good game, start to finish. Newcastle jumping out to a 20-point lead, and then the Titans coming back, and straight away at full time we got a message: AJ Brimson match winner. Loved it, ignored it. Broncos jumping out to the dreaded 14-point lead.
Yep.
And losing.
Getting run down.
Getting run down by Latrell.
Delicious. And then the game of the season.
like the game of the year so far. Raiders Dogs lived up to all the hype.
It was
the Raiders at halftime going hang it in the Louvre, and at full time just going defeat.
Yeah.
But beautiful.
It was, and then keep going.
The 5:30 game, the Dragons game.
Yeah, it was close.
Who'd they lose to?
The Warriors.
Cool.
Yep. Metcalf took a field goal.
That's it.
Not in the last minute.
Yeah, he took it with 12 minutes to go. Yes, well done, Luke. The cracking game between Penrith and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep.
Like, absolutely an amazing game.
Brilliant.
Then you had the Storm absolutely flog the daylights out of the Tigers in my game of the round. I loved that result. Humbled a lot of Tigers fans. They've all turned on each other now. They're all blaming Galvin here, Dewey there, Safer.
Oh. Doesn't take long, does it?
No, it doesn't
a week's
take long.
a long time in rugby league.
Yeah, I know.
My
And
friend.
then someone turned around and said, you can't blame Jerome Luai, he's just playing to the game plan. And someone wrote back, what, 0 line breaks, 0 tries, this great game plan. Benji Marshall copping shots.
Oh, it's delicious. Last week, they were the best team in the comp.
Yeah.
Ask their fans. And then the game of the round.
Yeah, then Cronulla going to Manly. Now, we're going to talk about it in our section, but just a brilliant round of probably my favourite round of rugby league.
This has been tremendous. And
this was a magic round.
look, these theme rounds and women in league round. You have Mother's Day to all the mothers.
Yeah,
yesterday.
Mother's Day, yeah.
They don't always live up to the hype, but this week they all got together and said, except the Tigers, let's have a great round.
Mother's Day started off with a great day for me as well because my mum got a cup of coffee made in the morning for her in my favourite Sharks mug, and I went out and bought my wife's black, white and blue flowers.
Glorious.
Okay, talk to me, Dan.
Time to talk some black, white and blue.
And of course, this segment is brought to you by Winnett Civil Grading. We are in it to win it, and win it we did.
Mate, we are 2-0 since he came on board.
Thank you.
I'm not saying that's a coincidence.
Neither am I. I don't believe in omens or anything, but thank you so much. Now,
Stay with us, we'll win the premiership.
let's go. First point I want to talk about this here is not the game. It's not the result. It's not the victory. It's not Craig Fitzgibbon being 4-0 at Brookvale. It's the Brookvale Hoodoos done.
It is. It's funny because I've seen so many Sharks fans say, we got the best record at Brookvale. As long as you weren't older than 5 years old, yes.
Yeah,
Before that, not so much.
There's 5-year-olds talking a load of stuff at school to their Manly supporting friends going, ugh.
Well, my son's been giving his father-in-law heaps, going, we never lose to you.
Yeah.
Well, lucky you're not old enough to
Yeah,
remember the
lucky you haven't found Rugby League, rugbyleagueproject.org and gone through the results.
Jeez. But yeah, the hoodoo.
Yeah, it's well and truly done and dusted now. They need to rename one of them grandstands the Nico Hines grandstand, because every time he goes there, he stands up.
He does. Isn't it fun though? Because people forget that he's a Manly junior.
Yeah.
And made a grand final in the flag. That he and
They
Turbo.
won.
Yeah, he and Turbo were.
Jesse Ramian was in that team as well.
So, Nico goes back. He's very familiar with that dog turd of a park.
Yeah.
Boy, does he love it.
I'm with the next point on here, of course, is Nico's form in the last couple of weeks. He's been tremendous, right? That game against the Tigers, I think it's really...
Yeah, it's woken him. Woken a few of them up.
In previous seasons, that could have had the negative roll-on effect. And I also think that if that had happened in round 23, you don't want that going into the finals.
No, very good point.
So it's good to get that out of the way early. Yep. It's never good to lose a game, but if you're going to lose a game and take, like you saw us setting up perfectly for field goals today. Yep. So we've taken a lot out of that.
Do you remember last year when we lost to the Tigers at Leichhardt and then went on that win streak?
Yes.
Just saying.
Yeah, it's happening again. Unfortunately we're playing the Storm this week, but Nico's form's incredible. We've seen an uplift in Blake Brayley. I think his service out of dummy half is like second best in the competition.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
And you could argue that he could be number one in terms of crisp passes off the ground.
Doesn't run in the family because his brother's terrible just quietly. Sorry.
Will Kennedy's form, obviously we know he's leading the Daily M's, whatever that means. Trindle, not so good, but Cam McInnes' leadership, AFB, making people go forward with him. Oregon Kafusi's first stint wasn't so good, his second stint was perfect. Tom Hazelton was tremendous.
Yep.
Absolutely tremendous. Billy Burns was huge.
Oh, my
Nickera, some of the lines that he runs and puts his body through.
Burns.
Get a little bit over 2025 Jesse Ramien. Wouldn't mind 2024 Jesse Ramien to come back.
It hasn't been ideal. There's always one player that needs to improve, and right now it's Jesse Ramien.
It is, but our bench today, tremendous effort from our bench. Jesse Colquhoun over 100 metres. Dan Atkinson.
He's such a difference maker.
Yeah, Dan Atkinson came on for 20 minutes, did his job.
Yeah, well, he did what he was asked to do.
Yeah, did what he was asked to do.
You know, I have to admit this. When Trinder went down, I'm like, God, who can play halfback?
Yeah.
And then Atkinson's out, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Idiot.
You know, we were just going to go back to the Blake Brayley.
That's what I was expecting. Like, who's going to play there on the left? I'm like, Colquhoun can defend out wide. Then Atkinson puts... I was like, that's right. We've got a specialist half on the bench.
Lucky, because we wanted him dropped. I thought even Hamlin Uele coming off the bench was pretty good today. That chip and chase.
Oh, I saw Tino do it.
He keeps his feet.
I saw Tino did it. Yeah. And he took that intercept.
Yeah, he took the intercept, wanted no smoke, but did it.
He did.
So happy for him.
How about that left-hand defence? Yeah. Which I was a bit worried about when it was...
Well, that's the Garrick, Saab, Turbo side.
And I'll tell you what, Ruben Garrick will want to never see KL Ero's face again because he's got his body implanted in his chest.
And Kennedy made that early error in the game and Garrick let him know all about it. Yeah. Let him know everything about it. And Ero was like, mate, I got you.
Yeah, don't you worry.
He walked up, patted Kennedy on the head, said, I got you, and then just smoked him for the rest of the game.
He's got this thing where he lets them slightly outside, they go, got ya. And Ero goes... No,
he's just got that explosive pace off the mark, does our KL. Look, Ronaldo was magnificent. He loves playing at Brookie as well. He scored 6 tries in his last 6 games.
Yeah, something crazy. He's tremendous out there.
Yeah, he's...
We should make that our home ground. We never lose there.
Yeah, I know. That and Perth.
Yeah, I know. It's Yellows Day.
Yeah,
Abdo watches this. So
but yeah, look, overall, it was a great team performance today, but I want to highlight somebody in particular.
Yep.
One, William Burns.
He was tremendous.
Now, when Teague Wilton went down, there was a lot of... You know, Teague's a pretty handy left edge back row, and he's a big body.
Smashing, but we smashed Olakau'atu in Perth.
Yeah, and he does his job on... Like, the thing for Teague Wilton is he needs a big...
Fafita.
Yeah, he needs a Fafita, Olakau'atu. Like, he doesn't get kick out, but those types of back rowers, for him to, like... just stand up and have a ripper. And when he went down, I was kind of like, a few years ago, he was really bad on that left edge, but, you know, recently with maturity, who would have thought that he's not 21, he's 25 now, and he's understanding how to play on that edge. And he's like, oh, is it going to be Burns or is it going to be Talakai? And you see Burns named, and everyone was like, oh, Billy Burns sucks. No, he doesn't.
Billy Burns has been tremendous. He's had a tremendous season, and I'll tell you what, anyone who watches Newtown, they miss him so goddamn much.
His leadership is missed at Newtown.
But Burns earlier, now I tweeted quickly that Cronulla can't win momentum back. Mm-hmm. It has to be given. We saw Parramatta had it until they dropped the ball, and then it was all us. Billy Burns wrestled back momentum yesterday. He smashed Ruben Garrick. If he doesn't make that tackle, well, obviously Garrick gets out. But the way he hammered him, and Trinder was there, that changed momentum, and we never lost it from there.
Well, I don't think Garrick gets out because he still had to get past Trindle and Kennedy.
But
he might have, right? But it was you more chance of that tackle being made by Billy Burns, but Burns was never going to get to that ball. No, and he knew that. He could have given up.
No, he just made the tackle.
And the minute Garrick got the ball, that went out of Burns' zone, so he didn't have to chase, but he did. And because of that, we scored a try. Then he has the try assist to Ronaldo.
What a kick.
And the other try assist to Ero, just from the smarts. The double tap.
Yep. Do you remember a left edge back row that played for Cronulla that put a little kick like that in every now and then by one Wade Graham?
Wade Graham.
Now, I'm not saying they're the same person.
But they're Penrith juniors.
Yeah, but I'm not saying they're not. I've been super impressed. There's talk that T may be back next week. I'm hearing the week after. Mm-hmm. If he's not 100%, you just leave him. Don't risk it. Melbourne, whatever. We'll discuss them during the week. But he's done everything we've asked and some. And that left edge, not once did I feel like they were going to score down our left today. On the right, not so much, but the left edge, Ero and Ronaldo got it wrapped up.
Jesse Ramien had 10 minutes that he would wish to forget, and I'm trying to forget it right now, but I've got a little bit of PTSD. One player who's not giving me PTSD, though I am glad he's back, is Jesse Colquhoun. Now, we're talking about Billy Burns. We're talking about Jesse Colquhoun. 12 runs for 115 metres off the bench. Huge impact. And when he went out there, it was because, Cam McInnes started the year with the tape on his head. Yep. I was like, oh, geez, McInnes is having a long stint, and it was Colquhoun. So
and he's grown really long hair.
We didn't really miss anything.
I don't think we missed anything at all. No, the problem I have is that he and Billy Burns look a lot alike.
Yeah.
From far. because I've yelled "Go Jess" when it was Billy at one stage and vice versa, and I'm like, wait, one's got tape on his head and the other doesn't. You're an idiot, Daniel. But I think Colquhoun the last 2 weeks has completely changed the game twice. Once for the negative, and once super for the positive. He played more minutes than he otherwise would have today because of Tom Hazelton not coming back. I think he's the first player picked on the bench. He just offers his ball playing. I called him Isaiah Yo-like. Not saying they're the same players. Please don't quote me. But the way he runs to the line, holds it and gives the ball, not many locks can do that. Gerbo used to do it before he turned terrible. Today,
oh, he's garbage.
Oh, he's so bad. Not one of those Manly players makes the Cronulla pack.
Oh, so speaking of the Manly pack, not one Manly forward ran for over 100 metres yesterday.
Yeah. Ola
Absolutely terrible.
was playing okay, and then Kaylero rushed out of the line and took an intercept and absolutely whacked him. And you didn't see him because he was out. He got smashed. Nathan Brown comes off the back fence.
Got smashed.
Hero absolutely floors him and Billy Burns goes whooshka, so he gets tackled, but it was all Hero. I said off camera, now Stephen Crichton had the game of his life, and Herbie Farnworth is spectacular. There is no one in the competition I'm swapping for Hero. None.
They're the top three centres of the competition.
Yeah,
right
and anyway, I dare someone to argue with that. They are so far ahead of the rest of the competition. I'm so happy we've got this kid. Give him another 10 years.
Now, the bench makeup. When everybody's fit, we're talking a full fit Cronulla team. Fully fit. We know that either Oregon Kaufusi or Tom Hazelton are going to start. So let's just for the sheet. Oregon Kaufusi's named in the 10. So that means Hazelton's in the 17.
Gotcha.
Who's your 14, 15, 16, 17?
Well, you can go one of the big boys. Brad
So Tom's going to be on the bench.
Hamlin Ueli or Toby Rudolph, not both. One.
Who is it for you? I'm picking Toby.
I think Toby's a better footballer, so I'm going with Toby Rudolph. The other two are Sif Talakai and Jess Colquhoun. Get rid of Tukes. He's not in there.
Nope.
Atkinson, obviously, we've moved on from him. Hepepu is just not going to get picked. I'm just resigned to that fact. I think Siva Talakai, because Fitz has shown that he plays 3 forwards, big minutes, and one's an impact player. Who's more impactful than Siva Talakai? Nobody.
No.
Jesse Colquhoun can do anything. He can play centres if you need him. I wouldn't say do it. But he's a back rower.
Talakai's there to play centres
True,
as well.
he's a back rower turn prop, turn lock. He can do anything. He can play 80 minutes on his ear, right? If Colquhoun, you're not saying is up to it, Billy Burns has to be a shout. But I think Colhoun's a bigger body and therefore used as a middle that.
Yeah, so my next thing was, that is so harsh on Billy Burns.
100%.
He's the 18th man. Now, there's just one thing about that makeup, and someone turns around and says, what about if a half goes down? You got Cam McInnes, you got Nicho Hines, or Trindle, whichever one it is, and you got Brayley, and we've seen us beat Melbourne with that game plan, so it would only be for 80 minutes.
Yeah. You can't
turn around and go, you can't pick on what ifs, right? What if a centre goes down? I don't want to see Talakai go there. I want to see Britton Nicker go there.
Yeah, and look, I could put an argument for that Jess Colquhoun can play 6.
Yeah, probably.
Not well, and he wouldn't kick, but he can ball play.
Well, the way we saw Hamlin Ueli.
Yeah, well,
6.
Maybe he can play 6. There are options, and I love it.
Look, all in all, really, really stoked. Obviously, we're going to go to Fins Up, and we'll drop the link in the comments section here for you. Please, you'll get a full rundown of the game, and you'll get the preview of the Melbourne Storm game coming up. You'll get the recap of the Jets and the Jersey Flag as well. Flag boys are flying the Jets, so they crashed. But you'll hear more about it on Fins Up. Dan,
talk to me, Terry.
It's time for some tips.
Yo, Bealty.
Get the tip in.
I'm not confident this week.
No.
After last week.
I had a really good week.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did, because at least I picked the Sharks.
There you go. There's one.
There you go.
More than some people got.
Yeah. Producer did just say that he got 4. No one believes him.
That's a good effort.
Yeah. Now, there's no Thursday night this week because you got the Women's Origin at Allianz. Game 2, New South Wales going in heavy favourites.
We'll be there.
They should take the series. We will be there. Friday night, 6 o'clock. The Knights versus the Eels. If you thought last Friday was the most Friday game of all time, this is it.
I need to leave. This is terrible. Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you what though. Parramatta were fun.
Yeah.
And Newcastle were fun, especially when they lost.
For 40 minutes, yeah.
Who's at home, Newcastle?
Yeah, Newcastle at home.
They get a good crowd.
Moses is... surely that crowd's got to turn around and go, nah.
Yeah,
I'm done.
At what point do you stop waving the flag? Seriously. Mitch Moses was terrible the other night. He spent more time yapping than he did playing football.
That captain's challenge that's up there with the Ronaldo touch on the face.
He has to pull his head in. That was real bad. I think Newcastle get him.
No, I'm going Parramatta. Yeah. Zach Lomax is back. I'm going Parramatta.
Fair enough.
8 o'clock, we have the Dogs versus the Roosters. Now, in years gone by, you'd be excited about this game. I think you can still be excited about this game, but not the excitement level that you should, because I think it's going to be the Dogs by how many?
Yeah, I think the Dogs flog them. Although,
I don't think they flog them.
This will be the last game before Origin selection. Teddy's going to need a big one.
Oh, look, the way that Dylan Edwards played against the Cowboys, I think it's him that's going to need the big one, because I've got Teddy... Teddy ahead at the moment.
Fair enough.
And if Daly's saying that he's picking on form, then Will Kennedy's in. But I'm going to go the Dogs in this game.
Could we drink water? Yeah, I think the Dogs are winning quite handsomely.
If he's picking on form, it's got to be Will Kennedy.
That's true, factually.
3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. I don't know where they are playing, but they're the home team. And they're taking on the Warriors. Now, the Warriors are... What can you say? At the beginning of the year, we had them bottom 4.
Yeah, they sure showed us, as they did a couple of years ago when we had them last and they made a prelim. This game... If it is indeed at Suncorp Stadium, could be a Warriors home crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it doesn't matter whether, if it goes to Gold Coast, it's going to be a home crowd. I think, if it's at Suncorp, though, it absolutely could be like a 40,000, ticket sold game.
It's going to be fun. And if it's at KO, no one cares.
I really like the Dolphins, and I like the fact that you forced me to tip them last week, and they won. I like the Warriors.
Yeah.
I really, really like the Wars, and I love the fact that Luke Metcalf is, just playing out of his skin. Now, the big question that we've got coming through to us is CNK's back, Dalla Martinez-Lesniak's back, and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck's coming back.
Oh.
So, Tuipupi gone? Tuipupi
Yeah, I think so.
I think, yeah.
God, that's unfortunate.
Or
Rocco Berry.
Yeah, exactly. CNK in the centres is the way to go.
Damn, that's a good team.
That is a good team.
Who's winning this football game?
Getting better. Dolphins, Warriors, Dolphins, Warriors, Dolphins, Warriors, Dolphins, Warriors. The bubble's got to burst at some time for the Warriors, but I just can't bring myself to pick the Dolphins 2 weeks in a row.
I'll go the Dolphins then. I was going to go opposite to what you say.
Yeah, that's a flip of a coin game, right?
It's worked so well. That's
one that isn't. 5:30 up at Country Bank, whatever they're called, up in Townsville.
Way up there.
Way up in where it's just too hot.
It's too hot, too humid. It's rubbish.
It was 7:30 on Saturday night. I was in my lounge room at Heathcote. It was cold, and I watched that game, and I was like, "That looks really hot."
Yeah, it did.
I didn't. Gross. But the Cowboys taking on Manly. Gross.
Ooh.
Give me the Cows. I don't even want to talk about it. Just give me the
Cows.
Cowboys.
Tom Dearden. I think Dearden takes DC's spot too.
I don't. I think Dearden's in the 14.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And 7:30, we've got a cracker here. Sharks at home for the first time, what feels like 2 months.
Yeah.
The last time we played there, we lost to the Dogs.
Yuck.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That is right. Yeah, last time we played there, we lost to the Dogs. So that's round 4.
Yeah.
It's round 11.
It has been 2 months.
Yeah, has been, just about 2 months.
What a return.
We're taking on the Storm. Now, the Storm coming off a 64-0 training run. The Sharks coming off a game where they got out to a lead, had to wrestle momentum back, ended up going over the top with it. I like Cronulla's forward pack. They always stand up against Melbourne. But this Melbourne team is just full of game-breaking players. People always say to me, have a look at Melbourne's forward pack, have a look at Melbourne's back line, it doesn't look all that good. Yeah, but they got Ryan Pappenhausen who can go and score 50 points on you. They got Jerome Hughes.
Harry Grant's back.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, Melbourne.
Yeah, I'm going to tip Melbourne too. I think Cronulla need to be in this game. If they get blown off the park, obviously it's not good. I have a line of thinking though. You want Melbourne after this win.
Yeah.
You don't want them after a loss because they're going to do this to you.
Yeah.
And the last few times they've lost have been off huge wins where they've just totally dropped it. Origins pick 2 days after or the day after. I can't remember which way Queensland go.
Oh, they go Monday.
So 2 days after. So you're going to have a lot of players that are going to be like, we've got Origin next week. Now that's either going to make them think, ooh, or it's going to make them think, ooh. Yeah. Could go either way. I think Melbourne get the chocolates, but I think Cronulla are very much in it.
Now we got a super duper Sunday after a super duper Saturday.
Someone said that. I got to sue you.
Yeah, we're going to sue them. I know who it was too. Yeah, check your inbox. The Broncos are taking on the Dragons up at Suncorp, which makes me think that game will probably be played at KO.
Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah.
This game, man, I hate the Broncos,
I hate the Broncos. I hate the Dragons more.
I even hate the Jays, but I hate the Broncos because they just... You hear this talk that they're all like at each other again.
No, it's bound to happen. So many egos in that team. Yeah, they're going to win though.
Yeah, by heaps.
4 o'clock, the Raiders are still at home. They'll be stewing on that loss all week.
Rick is stewing.
And, nice one. And they get to take on the hapless Gold Coast Titans. So coming off a nice win.
They are.
Can they back it up? Are you confident enough to pick your team 2 weeks in a row?
No.
Coward. I'm going for the Raiders.
Me too.
And then the Tigers are hosting Souths at 6 o'clock at one of their 900 stadiums. Yeah, I like this. Now, to bounce back, if you just get humbled 64-0, you have to bounce back. And Souths, after coming back from that game and Trell Mitchell's impressive run, you got to think, which way is the momentum going to go? I'll let you pick first.
Well, that is the romance of rugby league. Mate, there is in no world, no universe, no anything where I'm tipping the West Tigers after that garbage they served up yesterday.
Because they served up that garbage yesterday, I'm going to pick the Tigers.
Fair enough. There's two ways of thinking.
Yeah.
I just, out of principle, I can't do it. South Sydney.
Yeah, I'm only picking them because you pick South, and that would be boring if we just picked three the same. Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by good people like the people at Winnett Civil Grading. Now, we want more people like that. Please.
We love
it.
attention.
Yeah. You'll get your little badge and we'll send it everywhere.
We're professional.
We are. We like to be.